you went on to be champion of the world, the best of the best.
Be able to make millions of dollars fist fighting, like by God's grace and by hard work.
And now you're taking that same mindset to the business world. Yes, I'm sitting here with Eddie Alvarez, the underground king, UFC champ, Bellator champ. I think the actual only person to have both those belts, correct, Eddie?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's an amazing turn to entrepreneur, real estate mogul, real estate king, and also business king. Growing. Great to see your transition. Thank you for coming to the podcast here in Philly, Eddie. I know it's a long trip from Kensington, so.
Yeah.
So welcome to the podcast, brother, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man.
So Eddie, tell everybody who you are real fast in case somebody on the planet doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, so my name's Eddie Alvarez. I spent the last 2 decades fighting martial arts, mixed martial arts around the world. Traveled to 10 different countries and fought all over the world. And I'm the only man ever to capture every major American world title, along with a bunch of other local and regional ones. But just spent my life as a martial artist the last 20 years, traveling, trying to fight the best guys in the world, trying to prove to myself and everybody that I'd be the best lightweight in martial arts.
So we're going to talk about martial arts today and about that mindset, right? And I love wrestling. We talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
Very transparent. I sucked at wrestling. I actually think you boxed my brother Freddie at one time, correct?
Yeah, I did. I boxed. There's a funny story. I boxed with Fred because I was winning fights early in my career, but I was winning because I was a better athlete and I was just quicker, or the opponents were in high level. But I came home, my dad's like, "You suck at boxing. Like, if you keep fighting like that, you're gonna get knocked out." So, on the advice of my dad, I went down. I used the box of Front Street Boxing Gym, but I needed to get better. I needed to like spar with seasoned pros.
Yeah.
I went down there and spar with Freddie, and he fucking like dropped me twice, and I went, yeah, I think my dad was right, dude. I need to really like figure out this boxing thing because like the seasoned pros, like they're better.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So like I just kind of dove in that world.
well, it's funny because like I see people at he's a father, obviously, and like I'm a father. I'm 50 some years old. He's older than me, and we're out of shape. And you see these guys at wrestling tournaments, they're young, and they're like, they'll talk shit, and you're like, dude, you have no clue, like, who you're talking to. Like, we might be fat and out of shape, but these hands go on,
There's levels.
Yeah.
There's levels.
Like, just leave us alone. Um, so, but now you're a business guy,
Yeah.
and you own a gym, you own real estate. Today we're gonna talk about that too, because I want people to realize I can't imagine that's an easy transition because you're a competitive guy. Like, I mean, to get to the level you're at, there's levels. I mean, I don't care. I mean, who dropped you back when you were an amateur trying to figure things out and you're trying to get better and you're a pro, but you went on to be champion of the world in 2 different companies. I mean, the
Yeah.
best of the best. And now you're taking that same mindset to the business world. Can you talk to me about that transition?
Yeah. So during my career, I tried to do some business during it, and I had a failed venture, and like I did like an MMA clothing store, like maybe like halfway. Maybe I was 20 something years old, and I tried this clothing store, and what I realized was like, in me particularly, I can't multitask. I need to do one thing and only one thing, because my brain doesn't work that way. I get very obsessive about whatever it is I'm into, so obsessive that like nothing else exists around me. So like I can't do 2 things, and I tried to do 2 things, and it was a failed venture. I didn't lose much money, but it was a valuable one for me. I learned a lot about myself and went, look, it's fighting or nothing. You got to pick something. So like you either want to do this or you want to do this, but you're not going to do multiple things and be mediocre at multiple things. So um, I knew that like I just need to be fixated on the one thing that I was great at, and that was fighting. So like I didn't want to get involved in businesses during my fight career that would require a lot of time. So what I did was I invested in stocks, which don't require much time at all. And I invested in between my fights. I would have months of lulls where I can afford to put my focus into something else. During them months of time when I had a big check from a fight, I would renovate a property and get a rental out there, a couple months, get a rental out there and then go on and enjoy my fight career. But what I realized early was like time is everything. And I didn't want to trade my time for anything else. Fighting would take up my entire time, and if I had a little bit of time, I would involve that in a business that wasn't time consuming. And I did that throughout my career because I always thought like fighting would end.
Yeah.
I thought it would end, like it could end at any point. So I started buying properties early. I started getting invested in real estate early, thinking this fight thing could end like literally next fight. But it lasted 20 years. So I'm like, shit, I had got a lot of properties. I built up a good portfolio and had stuff outside of fighting by the time I got done. Um, but yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I met good people along the way. So I have a good team of people around me.
Let's talk about that because you've been to my office now multiple times. You spoke on my mastermind. I always tell people my leadership team is what makes LB Capital. I have the best leadership team. I have the best people around me. They're way smarter than me. They work harder than me. The result is a byproduct of those people, not Lance Bachmann. I say it all the time, where I'm just fortunate to be called the leader.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the people around you and how important it is that you're around the right people?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's honestly everything. The biggest obstacle I had to overcome during my career is like I don't want to say I'm gullible, but I believe that most people are inherently good, right? And they have good intentions and that they're going to work hard and they're going to do that, but throughout business I was disappointed a lot. And what I needed to get better at was my discernment of finding out, all right, who am I going to let in? And when I let them in, are they a good fit or a good person? Like, so you can pick a team, a guy who's great and very educated and he's sharpest tool in the shed, but maybe his intentions are no good. And I wasn't very good at discerning and meeting people and knowing who the bad actors are and who the good ones are out. Because I'm inherently good. I assumed everyone else is. But I got better at that. And the better I got at that, the better people I was surrounded with. Um so I I think I have buddies who are in business as well, and I tell them, there's a lot of, like, snakes and rats and all this stuff, and we all coexist in this jungle of business, right? And some of them are there, and you're never gonna get rid of them. The only thing you can get better at is your discernment. Like, how who are they? And let me I don't have to make a article about them, but I need to know who's who so I can know who to do business with and who not to. So, like, I got better at that, and the better I got at that, the better of team and people that were around me.
And everything just probably started growing leaps and bounds
It
really fast.
Yes, it just takes time to get better at that, like, to have me for me to grow that skill.
What about in your personal life? Because 'Cause you're from Kensington. I'm not putting you down, I grew up in Deconey, so I'm not
Mhm.
being disrespectful. It's not the I mean, this not like, I'm from Philadelphia, and I love Philadelphia. I'm proud to be from Philadelphia. Fortunately, I got to move to Bucks County to Council Rock, which is one of the most prestigious areas I believe you could live in, and I'm proud of that also, right? So,
Amen.
um, very fortunate my mom came and got us out of the city, foster care system, but did you have to change your circle when you got successful, or do you think you could still hang out with the same people you grew up with doing the same things that you were doing? Like, do you think you have to change your circle? I'm just kinda curious to your opinion.
Yeah, so, like, I never got involved in the neighborhood. Like, the neighborhood wasn't my thing. I wasn't sitting on steps or hanging at parks. My parties were championship parties. I was always in sports. Sports saved my life. So, like, there wasn't a single season. I did, track and field, I did football, I did basketball.
Hold
Um,
on, man, you played football?
yeah, I played running back
Man, there's hope
and
for my
D-back.
kid.
I just played running back and D-back. Yeah, so you 5 just shy of 5'8", maybe 5'7".
There's hope for my boys, LJ Hammond, they'll be good.
Yeah, so football and then, but that just kinda grew my athleticism, but I was always in a sport, so, like, I never had time to get out in the street and do that, so, like, my circles and the people I surrounded myself were trying to win ball games, win,
Nice.
championships. That was the majority of my growing up, was just being on teams and trying to win. That was probably that happened was not being inside of the neighborhood, not having idle time, and just being on a team and kinda working toward a goal. That's been my pretty much my entire childhood.
And you met your girlfriend in junior high, high school?
15 years old, yeah, we were yeah, high school.
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy, and you're still with your wife today?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We had Eddie yeah, we had
So she's a big piece of your life and big piece of your success, and behind every successful man, I do believe is a successful woman. I just do have some belief in that. I just
bro, it's, she picked me up from Kensington. You know, she's this blonde hair white girl, like, Kensington's all Spanish and black, and I would tell her, like, sometimes she was just, like, bold, like, she'd get out of her car, come to my house, I'm like, "Just call me when you're here so I can at least walk you from your car to my house." It's a dangerous place, it's like a now, I mean, it's like a third world country a little bit, so it's like
now it's really a third world country.
yeah.
Now it's gone off the reservation.
And, she used to do that. I was embarrassed actually when we met to even I didn't let her in my house. I was embarrassed in my house, so, when I met Jamie, I just wouldn't let her in, and then I found out, my brother, she picked my brother up to help my brother out, he needed a ride, and he let her in the house, and, she called me and went, "I'm in your house," and I went, "What?" Right away, I was gonna kill my brother. I'm like, "Dude, this chick's gonna leave me, like, our house is embarrassing," like but, she didn't give a shit. She didn't care about any of that. She's kinda cut from the same cloth, has family members, like, from, up near the boulevard and stuff like that, so, like, we kinda mix. We mixed really well, and, we ended up having Eddie at 19 years old. We had little Eddie at 9 when I was 19, so we don't know much else than, being parents, and she's my best friend.
I mean, that's amazing. I wanna ask you this, you know, I had the pleasure of watching you speak to my mastermind, and I told you were proud. I mean, I feel bad for the guy from Canada that flew to do the podcast with us. The guy was named Michael, I still owe him a podcast. I was supposed to do a podcast when you were speaking,
Mm.
but then I heard you start talking, and I was, like, so captivated, I didn't leave the room the whole time.
Oh, you didn't do the
I
podcast.
ended up the poor guy.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
No, but I got caught up in the moment, and you gotta remember, you gotta think what I do. I speak all the time, and I hear people speak all the time. I've been on stage, and it was probably one of the most rawest, honest like, you are a very humble guy. Like, you're the opposite of most people that win championship belts. Not the opposite of most, you're probably half of them, and then you got the other half that are loud and boisterous, and, I was talking to, a guy, and he wrestled another guy, and I was surprised he said this. He said, "I don't know if he likes me, I kicked the shit out of him a few times." I was like, "You kicked the shit out of him a few times?" He's like, "Yeah, I beat him a few times." I'm like, "Well, that's not kicking the shit out of someone. Kicking the shit out of someone is me punching you in the face and breaking your fucking jaw,
Yeah.
and then kicking you when you're down." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "That's me kicking the shit out of you. You played a gentleman's sport, you wrestled each other, you won.
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk like that."
Yeah.
And this is another because you'll be able to identify this guy. This guy's a multiple national and NCAA champion, I said this to.
Mm.
And, like, he was shocked. So, like, it's a gentleman's sport. It's just not how you talk. You don't talk that way about no one. I've never heard you like, you talk about yourself getting beat. You really don't talk about ever beating anyone. You just are like, "Yeah, I followed him." Like, can you talk about where does that humility come from? Because I think half of you guys like you have it that are really tough guys. The other half are just, like, they're obnoxious about it.
Yeah, the father I grew up with was, he was the opposite of that. So, like, my dad would sit me down for hours and talk about how important it is to have humility and be humble, but my dad was the complete opposite, he wasn't that. So, like, as I got older, I realized all the things my dad was telling me was character flaws that he had in himself, and he wanted to make sure that I didn't have them. And I didn't know that till, like, as I was growing up, I'm just a kid, like, whatever my dad says, my dad's my hero, I'll just listen to whatever he says. But as I got older, I'm like, "Fucking my dad wasn't any of this shit." Like, he was just feeding he was letting me know, like, "Dude, I'm fucked up, and I wanna make sure you're not fucked up." And, I have no humility, I'm bold, I'm loud, I'm like so, like, if my dad ever won something or I won something, he was the first one to go, "That's my son," and fucking all that. So, like, for me, it was more like he would be so loud that maybe maybe I took a back step and was like, "Look, I don't need all that attention." It just felt like more pressure on me to one up it, you know what I mean? So, I think it I think it might have a lot to do with the talks I had my dad would have with me for hours about how important humility is and being humble. He was more like, "Do as I say, not as I am," type thing. So maybe that's it. And then, to be honest, I don't think too highly of myself, and I never have. Um, I think I fist fight. I'm from very humble beginnings. I happen to, like, by God's grace and by hard work, be able to make millions of dollars fist fighting. I consider myself lucky. I feel lucky inside. I don't feel like I'm this guy deserving of all this stuff. If anything, I feel the opposite. Sometimes, like, I pinch myself. I'm like, "Dude, you're really fucking lucky, like, this happened for you."
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
So, like, I don't, I'm not me. This is because of me. Like you said, I had my wife who supported me, my family, half of Philadelphia coming out. This was not a sport that you can make millions of dollars in. When I started it, it was like I dreamed this up, and then when I was a kid, and then the sport started to grow as I did it. So, dude, I feel lucky, and I get angry when I see athletes, brush kids off or don't sign autographs. It's like, dude, you lost yourself. Like, you lost yourself because you were a kid at once, and you dreamed about being in this position, and now you you lost yourself completely, and you've forgotten how lucky you are to be able to be in the position you are. So, like, I just feel lucky, and I think that's why I, speak the way I do. That's why I don't care what people think about me too much, or, like, maybe I'm a little, like, self-deprecating, or maybe I'm not as confident as people think I am, but, that's where it comes from, I guess.
I mean, you got to be pretty confident because I watched you speak and I watched a lot of people speak. And I told you this. It was the most rawest, honest speech I think I've ever heard. I don't think you've ever spoke that speech before.
No. No, not my whole that was pretty much my story from beginning to end. I told
I mean, I
pieces
can't
about
wait
myself.
for Marco Island to get it because I was sitting there. I had hair sticking up my arm. I was like, God, like, you're just a humble guy. We're moving. Like, and that was my thing when that guy said that to me the other day. And he's like, yeah, I kicked the shit out of him. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to say how many time NCAA champ, but you're a multi-time NCAA champ. And you're talking like this.
Yeah.
And what is wrong with you? Like, yeah, I sucked at wrestling. I sucked at boxing. I told people, my son LJ said to me and my son LJ, he said, were you like Uncle Fred, Dad? I said, "What do you mean was like Uncle Fred?" He goes, "Well, he was a really good boxer. He was a backup to David Reed." And I said, "No." I said, "I suck, son." She goes, "What?" I said, "I suck." I said, "I was the guy everybody wanted to spar with because he got to beat the shit out of me. I was just too dumb to go down all the time.
Yeah.
I just kept getting back up and, just I was a gritty kid." He said, "What about wrestling?" So now I sucked at that too, son. I was like, but I was just that dumb kid that just kept coming back. And I said, "LJ, it's not about how great you are.
Yeah.
Some people it's just like I've always said this, my brothers are better athletes than me, right? But my mindset was just different than theirs. I just had the mindset of I might not have had the toolbox,
Yeah.
but I made the most of what the toolbox you gave me.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense? I try to explain that to people. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, not everyone has the fastest speed. So I got to run as fast as I can run. I only compete with me,
Yeah.
you know? And I said this to my son. I said, son, and this is what your dad probably tried to make you different than him. The only person in your life I truly believe that wants you better than you is your dad. Meaning, my sons, I want them all to go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
Not big. When I say to people, I told you before, I don't want my sons to wrestle in college, right? And you see how many private trainers I have for my kids. And people are like, what do you mean you want your sons to wrestle in college? They're going to have to want to do that. I want my sons to go to an Ivy League school,
Yeah.
get a network, get a good bunch of young men to become friends with, and go start businesses. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but your father was the only one that wanted more for you. I don't know if you would have had that big I mean, I guess you'll get a guy like, what's the guy's name? The Irish dude that's, like, fucking loud and boisterous, he's crazy, like, that guy, he's loud, he makes millions from being loud, who else makes millions from being loud? Terrell Owens did. Andrew Tate, yeah, Andrew Tate. I mean, I guess there is a market for it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I know I don't want my sons doing that.
Yeah, I think you just and I was told this, Chael Sonnen, I'm good friends with Chael Sonnen. I think he's probably the best mouthpiece in the sport. Like he's kind of even he was even before Conor McGregor. Conor's witty, but Chael's really good. Like he's a really good storyteller. And he told me like, Ed, you don't ever have to, because I would always go to him and go like, look, I'm not Conor McGregor. I'm not one of these guys. We're gonna go out there and say things that are kept. I'm gonna go out there and fight. And the way I fight, I hope people connect with it and they go, holy shit, I want to see this guy fight. Because I didn't have like this character or this, I wasn't gonna wear my hair a certain way. Not that I have any, but I wasn't gonna do any of that. I was hoping people were captive by that. But Chow said, whoever you are, whoever you are, just turn up the volume on that. Just don't just don't try to be something you're not. People are gonna find you out. It's disingenuous. Just whoever you really are, just turn up the volume on it. Sometimes you're hiding from yourself and you're going, oh, I don't want to say this. They'll think that. If it's genuinely you and that's who you are, just turn up the volume on it. You can't apologize for being who you are. So I took that and I went, yeah, I could probably do more of that. I can probably be better at turning up the volume on who I am, and that can't hurt, and I can't apologize for that. So, like, I thought that was great advice, and I went, I'll do that then, and if you're humble, maybe, turn up the volume. If you're, self-deprecating, then turn up the volume. But I just think just being unapologetically you, genuinely you, is a rare thing to come across anymore today. It's very rare. So, like, if you're that, then just be it,
Yeah, most people are full of shit these days. You go see all these gurus on social media, and they're full of shit.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. Like, they're just full of shit. They never had success, and they act like they have success, and I say it all the time. Like, I'm just like, "Why would you follow that person? They've never built a business. They never sold a business. Like, what are you doing?" "Oh, he's a really nice guy." "Yeah, well, I got a lot of nice fucking people around me." Doesn't mean they're good at business.
Dude, 100%. Bringing that up is funny. I, text that guy Liver King, right? I don't know if you remember that
Is
whole
that the
thing with
real
Liv
built dude that's, like, on steroids?
Yeah, so
There's no way that dude's not on steroids. I'm not here to put a challenge on anyone. I mean, Jesus Lord. I mean, there's no way that guy's not on steroids. You're my nuts, right?
100%. Well, he
Like,
got caught. So,
oh, he
like,
got caught?
what
Okay.
happened was that little Eddie
Uh,
yeah, my son Eddie comes up to me one day, he goes, "Dad, you gotta follow this guy Liver King, he's pretty cool." So I look him up, and I'm realizing my son's, like, looking up to this guy or, like, liking what he's saying, and I'm like I look him up and go, "I kinda like what he's saying too." I said, "But I need to talk to this dude," right? So I text him behind the scenes. I just say, "Hey, man, really like your stuff, like what you're pushing." It was like an all natural ancestral way of living, eat meat, work out. But I said, "But I can't help but notice, you're on a crazy amount of steroids and, like, all kinds of everything else, but you're pushing, like, this natural way of life." Like, there's a complete contradictory between what you're saying and what you're doing, and there's a lot of people following you, like young kids, like my kid. So I said, "Do you have anything to say about that?" And I get back, like, this cookie cutter thing. "Hey, never did anything in my life," and I'm like, this guy's like, now he's a liar.
yeah, yeah.
So, like, I got that back, and I just showed it to the lad. I go, "Alright, yeah." I said, "Some of the stuff he's saying is good, but the guy is, he's a steroid user and all this. Just know that, achieving his build and all is not gonna happen without a serious amount of enhancements and drugs." Well, like 2 months later, he gets clipped, and the guy who was selling him all his stuff came out and told on him. Now
Really?
yeah, and everybody like, it came out big, like, the guy's on all kinds of
My thing is just, why not just say it?
just like I said.
Someone asked me the other day, like, I'm 50-some years old, right? And someone goes, "Man, you're in, like, decent shape for a 50-year-old guy. Do you take anything?" I said, "Yeah, no, it's funny. I just started taking TRT."
Mhm.
And the guy's like, "What?" I'm like, "I just started taking TRT." And, like, his jaw drops. I just told him.
Yeah.
why would I lie to you? You asked me a question. Maybe
Yeah.
it helps you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that any kid should be taking TRT, but my testosterone was in 270.
Yep.
That's fucking low, man. Like,
Bro, I don't know anybody 40 something older not doing TRT. Not that I'm not one to endorse it because I don't know much about
I
it.
don't endorse it or not endorse it. I know I was so critically low
Yeah.
that when I was on the phone with Gary Brackett, that's Liver King. God
Yeah, that's
damn,
Liver
Gary.
King.
Hey, he looks photoshopped. Well, so what made me do it was, I'll be very transparent. I don't bullshit is, I went to Gary Brackett, 10X Health.
Yep.
I was on the phone with Gary Brackett, and a woman doctor was with him. I forget her name, and said something about my sex life with my wife. I'm like, we're fine, man. And my wife's obviously, she had a stroke 2 years ago, almost died, and so that's what made us do this whole 10X thing.
Yep.
And obviously, 15 years later, and they're like, no, that's not true. And then they were like, listen, you're at 270.
Yeah.
Like, you should be at 700, 800 to be optimized. Like, but they'll tell you the 300, 400 range is fine. Your average doctor, that's not. But you want to live the optimized life. You want to live a good, healthy life.
Yeah.
So I just started doing research. I called my doctor. I'm like, yo, dude, my last 3 tests, I've been going down. I was at 500. I went down to 4 something. Then I went down to 270. And you told me I was still good. Under 300 becomes critical.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, but there's side effects. I'm like, there's side effects of not being optimized. There's side effects of being sluggish and tired and not being able to work out. And I'll tell you right now, I've been on it for 6, 7 months, and it changed my life.
Feel like you feel a difference?
I feel totally I don't feel like I'm ever on a roid rage or anything like these things that you hear. I think the minimal dose, like 0.03 or whatever it is, every 4 days. So it's a minimal amount you could take, but
You had to when you do it, you have to take it all week?
you take it 2 days a week.
Oh, 2. All right.
Yeah, 2 days a week. But like, I was subscribed by
Once a day? Once a day?
it's a needle in your butt, my wife,
Yeah, but just once a day?
twice a week. You just take a needle, boom.
Yep.
One time on Tuesday, on Monday, one time on Sunday, one time on Thursday.
All right.
So it's not bad, but like, I can tell a difference.
Yeah.
And, probably now that I am so open about it with people, all of a sudden, all these other guys like, yeah, I take it, I take it, I
Yeah.
take it, I take it. And they're all my age, obviously.
Yep.
I would not be telling someone your son's age to fucking touch TRT. He's probably 1800
Yeah.
testosterone at his age, right?
It's the opposite problem of us. It's
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's where I think you are right. Most people are liars. Most people are frauds when it comes to pushing an agenda. Here's a question for you, right? You bought all this real estate. You secured your family's life with real estate, which is a great move.
Mhm.
How involved are you buying more real estate now? Are you still looking for real estate? Are you constantly pushing the real estate envelope? Or are you kind of like, hey, listen, I'm good where I'm at. And I'm taking it slow.
Yeah, I'm always peeking. Like, I'm always, like, on Zillow looking here and there, or, like, I have some agents who have pocket listings who call me, "Ed, I have this." Like, a couple people let me know, "Hey, I have this going on." And, I'll get involved or not get involved, but so the last couple years, I'm fighting, making a few million bucks when I go fight. So it's very simple to be like, all right, let me get rid of money here, get rid of money. But I know that's going to slow down, right?
Yeah.
That amount of cash flow that I'm getting a year is going to slow down. So I'm being a little more cautious now of like keeping my cash hoard pretty high,
Yeah.
knowing that I need to build something that cash flows.
Are you done fighting?
Dude, I don't know. I don't.
Damn,
I can't.
baby.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
old are you now?
I'm 41.
41.
Yeah,
What, you
but
think Tom Brady?
I know, but I'm getting offers, and I'll never say. I don't know. I just feel like a fucking quitter if I say I'm done.
Well, it's 40 years. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I don't even call you a quitter.
yeah. I leave it open because there's so many opportunities. Dude, it's not a larger part of my life anymore the way it was.
Do you love it still?
I do. I do. Honestly, when I'm in the training camp, there's nothing. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Here's a question for you. We're going to talk about your businesses you own too, but I want to ask you a question for some of the kids out there, because there's going to be some kids that go listen to this from Philadelphia. I know my sons will, so maybe selfish question.
Mhm.
Were you scared before you went out before your matches?